Welcome to The Link this evening, and we're discussing a topic that was not well discussed earlier on, which is technically called labor externalization. However, we're dealing with people working outside Uganda, and more specifically in the Arab or Gulf countries. That's our discussion tonight. Welcome back. And tonight my guest is Lawrence Egulu, Commissioner Employment Services. Lawrence, welcome.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Welcome back sooner. This topic was not handled very well last time, and people need to know. Labor externalization, or people working outside Uganda. First, we hear many stories of girls, especially in trouble, when they go to work in the Gulf. Let's divulge into the discussion. What's required of companies that intend to play in the labor export space?
Thank you very much, Sam, and thanks for the welcome again. Good evening, viewers. Labor externalization, you know, as my minister, Madam Kwaya, says, this is not a business of exporting charcoal or matoke or something. We are dealing in human beings, human life. So the people who are behind it must also be of integrity. So there are a number of conditions that we put on the companies to be able to do operate in this sector.
Okay.
You know, Ugandans of good standing, so they have to be vetted, among other people, by the Joint Intelligence Committee.
Okay.
And to make sure that you don't have a criminal record and you are not dealing in drugs or things like that. We also require that companies deposit a minimum of 50 million in terms of bank guarantee. That money is held by the bank. So in the event of any misdemeanor or a girl in distress, you've cheated clients, we'll draw on that money. So that's $50 million held by the bank.
50 million shillings.
Only 50 million shillings. You must have a bank account of not less than 10 million Uganda shillings over a period of 6 months. You must not be involved in the business of tours and travel, because we've also realized that, you know, because there are in countries where we have a bilateral labor agreement, like Jordan and the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia, where it's free for the girls to go get employment over there. If you're involved in the business of tours and travel, then you will use your company, and that will disadvantage those companies which don't have
unfair competition. Exactly,
it will be unfair competition. And then for foreigners, they're also allowed to operate in the market, but then they must be cleared by their own countries, because we don't want to have people who maybe are here having been considered as criminals or they are running away from the law. So there must be that clearance from their particular countries.
Many young women and men go, they even cut corners to go to the Gulf especially. If I'm going to go there, what do I need to know?
I think it's very important to know that when you're going to work, you're going to work. It's not leisure. You're not going for, it's not a tourist visa you're going for, you're going to work. And work means, you know, you should be ready to do your fair share of the job. So there has to be a mindset change as well there, that you're going not just for anything, but you're going to work. And working is working. But we promote what we call safe and productive channels of migration. So we've registered, by law, as of 2005, there is the statutory instrument number 62, which stipulates the rights and responsibilities of companies, recruitment companies, private recruitment companies. So far we have 109 of them, and these are the ones that are mandated to externalize migrants abroad.
There are situations, let me cut you short there. There are situations where these girls and boys are asked to submit their passports and they are confiscated. Is that one of the things?
Now, that definitely is breaking the law. You're not supposed to hold anybody's passport. You're not supposed to hold anybody's documents. In fact, it's a breach of the statutory instrument number 62 of 2005. And if you're found in breach of that, it could lead you to lose your license. So I want to go abroad. I'm a girl, I'm a guy, and I've not got a job here. What do I need to do? We've said that 109 registered companies. So these are the ones that are legally allowed to
How do I know who is legally allowed?
So we have a website at the ministry, and we distribute the list to as many stakeholders as possible.
Okay, what's the website? Somebody may want to know.
Well, mglsd.co.ug.
Yeah, I think I have it here.
It's one of those which are very much, which will immediately pop up, externalization of labor.
Okay.
Now, so even if you approach a recruitment company, 109 of them, you need to watch out for a number of things. One, is this company still in business? Because the license might have expired. So check that, check to see to it that the company has a valid license. Number two, does it have a job order? A job order meaning that a company abroad has asked this, has sent a job request to, let's say, a Gulu Enterprises.
Yeah.
So does that job order exist? And then is there a power of attorney? Power of attorney given by the company abroad, like in Dubai, to a company in Uganda, to say recruit on our behalf. That must be there. And there must be a contract. There must be a draft contract,
now,
a model contract.
Are they going to ask for these things, Lawrence?
Now, that is the problem. These are the things that, as a potential migrant, you need to know.
Yeah.
So you must be aware that this is the job that is available, and these are the conditions attached to that job. So, it will show you the salary, the working hours, the leave days, the days off, your other benefits, insurance cover, in the event of death, what happens to my body. Those things must be specified in the agreement. Otherwise, please don't pay your money to anybody. You might just be dealing with a con man.
How come some people who go to the Gulf, Arab countries, have better jobs than others? Others are working at home, but others are having good jobs. How come?
Okay, so this is the thing. With the two countries where we have bilateral labor agreements, that is the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia and the Hashemite Kingdom of Jordan, it's free for maids. So domestic workers traveling abroad to these countries, it's free. The only thing that you have to pay is 50,000 shillings for registration. Now, automatically that attracts a number of Ugandans to go as a maid if it is free. So something free means, I don't have to pay anything.
No encumbrances.
No encumbrances. So definitely it's the first port of call for most Ugandans because they have to pay nothing. But then there are also other job opportunities. There are shopkeepers, shop attendants, doctors, drivers, cleaners, coffee makers. We've seen all kinds of job situations that arise, particularly in the Middle East. But obviously, the biggest demand is for domestic workers that are mainly available in the Middle East. But the labor market in the Middle East is also changing. It's not just about unskilled or semi-skilled workers. They are also requiring, more and more experts. So, as I said, doctors, teachers, engineers have also found their way into the Middle East. And the other thing that we are also looking at is beyond the Middle East. We are encouraging our companies also to look, like at bigger markets like China, like Russia, South Korea, like Brazil. I've also seen job orders that have gone from in other parts of Africa, like South Africa, Benin, Angola, Egypt, Turkey.
So if I'm looking for that job, I should look for companies where those kinds of jobs that I want are serious are. Okay.
Do your do your job search, but if you have a situation where you are not able to, come to the ministry as well. And we also there, we give career guidance, we point to certain positions, to certain countries where such opportunities exist.
Very good. You have bilateral agreements with Saudi Arabia and Jordan.
Correct.
Now, so when I'm in other countries where you don't have bilateral understanding, am I on my own?
Not at all. We are in negotiations with those other countries, with the United Arab Emirates. We are very much in advanced stages in terms of signing a bilateral labor agreement. With Qatar, the agreement is already negotiated. It's just awaiting signature. With Bahrain, we've shared a draft with them. With Lebanon, they have actually shared their draft with us. They want us to comment on. Kuwait, we have also shared a draft with them. So we are in negotiations with a number of Middle Eastern countries. Plus, Lebanon is not in the Middle East, and neither is Turkey. So, despite the fact that we don't have bilateral labor agreements with them, we have a level of understanding, and we are externalizing Ugandans to those countries as well. the difference is that for the two countries, Jordan and Saudi Arabia, domestic workers pay nothing. For these other countries, everybody has to pay something. You know, your ticket, your passport, your medicals.
In order for you to be
for you to be able to get access to the jobs over there.
Let's get to the issue now. So if I'm in those countries where any country with bilateral or no bilateral, in case of trouble, what should a stranded individual do?
A very good question. We've had several cases of, you know, boys and girls in distress. Yeah. And usually the first port of call is the recruitment company in the destination country. So for instance, you are in Amman, Jordan. Who took you there? Who is the person who you were handed over to? That's the recruitment company in Amman or in any other city in Jordan or in Riyadh in Saudi Arabia. So that's the first person you get to. Okay. In the event of any disagreement, then obviously there's the ministry responsible, the equivalent of the Ministry of Gender, Labor and Social Development. You get into that. Short of that, we don't have an embassy in Jordan, but we have a liaison office, which is, it's covered from Riyadh, which is in Saudi Arabia. So that, we also have contacts there, and we have given these migrant workers the contacts of the embassy in Saudi Arabia, so they can have access to that. Apart from that, we are also working with NGOs. There is an NGO, TASDIM, in Jordan, for instance, which gives legal cover in case of distress. And then there's also the ILO, International Labour Organization. They have offices there. There is the IOM, International Organization for Migration. Okay. So there are many avenues which we encourage the girls to get in touch with. And then back home, you know, most of these girls and boys have our contacts. They have the contacts of the recruitment company in Uganda, which has externalized them. So SOS them. Or in the event that it's you still need extra help, we are here to. We also give them our details at the ministry for them to be able to get to us in the event of any situation.
Lawrence, your last word in 1 minute. A caution or advice to those who are looking at being externalized in terms of labor.
Please use the safe channels, and that is the recruitment companies. And as I said, look out for certain documents that these recruitment companies must have. That's a license, a job order, power of attorney, a model contract that you will be able to work under. Have in your hands contacts of the ministry officials, of the embassy over there, of the recruitment company that is sending you. And please, some of these contracts are too good to be true. You never know. I have had situations. Yes, I've had situations where people have come to me with employment contracts issued by the United Nations to work in non-existent headquarter countries of the United Nations. So if in doubt, please check with us, and we'll be able to look at your papers and see to it that you actually have a job. Otherwise, it would end up being a case of no job at all.
Thank you very much, Lawrence, for this information. If you have intentions of working outside, do your homework, and as the Commission has told us, work safely. Check out everything before you go and fall into trouble. That was The Link tonight.